we got here? NXT Takeover sneaking up from behind as per usual and stealing the weekend. You'll love to see it. The kickoff show collision with Ridge Holland versus Trey Baxter, two young lads who have just started really. It's a quick straightforward match, big guy versus little speedy guy. Baxter ran around and kept his distance for a while, but as soon as Holland got him, flattened him with a power slam, that was it. First match on the main card was Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight for the $1 Million Championship. Grimes has been acting as Knight's butler recently because he lost a bet. The $1 Million man Ted DiBiase can see something in Grimes and knows there's more to him than just a butler, so he's been helping him out. The only thing is though now, if Cameron Grimes can't beat LA Knight, Ted DiBiase's got to become Knight's butler too. Since Grimes turned face a little bit ago, I just get massive Daniel Bryan vibes from him with anywhere near a crowd. They absolutely love him. He's small, he's scrappy, he doesn't look very neat and tidy at the minute, fair enough, but there's definitely something there. They put on a great match, and Grimes just gets even more support from the fans when he's got a good heel like LA Knight working with him. He won the $1 Million Championship and the crowd loved it, and they're nice and warmed up for the rest of the show. We move on to the NXT Women's Championship, and before we get into this, it was the best women's match of the week. Sorry for the people that like everything else that was on, but these two lasses know each other really well, they've got good chemistry, and they put on a convincing contest. In the end we saw Gonzalez retain. Dakota Kai had a strategy, but it only lasted so long. She tried to hit a user kick on Gonzalez while she was sat on the top rope, but Gonzalez caught her and hit her with a one-arm powerbomb off the top. And then after the match, Kaylee Ray, the former NXT UK Women's Champion, came out to have a good stare-off with her. I'm actually looking forward to that because she's great. Now, this was the match a lot of people were looking forward to. Volta against Elijah Dragunov, the second contest between these two lads. Last time, Volta won, obviously, and this match was very, very different. To start with, Dragunov had a plan. He just went straight at Volta, he was very aggressive and caught him off guard. A lot of Walter's chops, they look like and sound like they hurt. And every time he'd swing for one, Dragunov would dodge or he'd counter it. And he put on quite a little convincing back and forth with him to start off with, but then eventually Volta hit him with one of them and he dropped like a sack of shit. And then Volta just sat on him and made him suffer for a while. Dragunov would keep coming back, but then Volta would keep swatting him away. And then Dragunov kept getting Volta in a succession of different chokes and headlocks and kneeing him in the head. And eventually, to everyone's surprise, Dragunov used Volta's weight against him, lifted him up from the ground in a sleeper, and he made the big bastard tap out, which was impressive. Now, I do have a couple of points to criticise with this match. Although I really, really enjoyed it, one thing is Dragunov he kicked out of everything, and Volta was landing a lot of moves, a lot of hard-hitting stuff, and I'm meant to believe that Volta couldn't beat him if he'd hit him with these moves. Now, I know a lot of what Dragunov was doing was countering and working on Volta, but it was putting over Dragunov's strength rather than making Volta's strikes look like they've been incapacitated somehow. If it had been me, I'd have had some little bit where Volta had maybe tried to hit one of his chops or a backhand and hit the ring post, and maybe try to sell the story of Volta breaking a hand, and that's why when he does hit Dragunov, it's not doing as much damage as it normally did. Because this, while made Dragunov look really, really strong, it made Volta look a bit weak. And that's really the last thing you want to do, even if he's going away. But all in all, I really enjoyed this match, and I still hurt from watching it last night. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly face off now in 2 out of 3 falls. The first match is going to be a single straightforward match, the second match is no disqualification, and the third match, should it come to that as they say, will be a steel cage match. These two lads go a long way back. I remember seeing them in Ring of Honor battering the shit out of each other in, was it a hybrid fight match? I can't remember what they called it now. Some MMA style contest where they sort of like did a worked shoot fight, and the then clean shaven pretty boy Adam Cole ended up getting his nose flattened all over his face, if I recall correctly. And tonight the lads didn't disappoint either. O'Reilly won the first fall because Cole tried to rush to get his finish. Cole sneaked behind him, got the 3. Then once we got to the second round, it became a street fight. Adam Cole worked on Kyle O'Reilly's ribs for a good while, made it very difficult to do a lot of his offense. And then one of them set up 2 chairs, stood up, and then Riley got slammed spine first onto it. By the time the third fall came around, the steel cage was dropped, and you could tell both lads were knackered. And I didn't think the match would last much longer, to be honest, and it didn't. Cole had a plan of getting O'Reilly tied up in the ropes with a pair of handcuffs, and just when he thought he had him, O'Reilly dropped him, got the heel hook on him, and made him tap. The crowd were a bit upset with this. I'm not sure if they were booing the finish or booing the fact that Adam Cole lost, but they were chanting bullshit, and it seemed a bit unfair, to be honest. And now we're on to the main event already. That just flies by. Samoa Joe against Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. Now, Karrion Kross, as advertised here, looks like he's got Scarlett with him. When he came down to the aisle, He did not, and the crowd were chanting for her. They were not happy. I mean, there is an argument for those that are upset Sasha Banks didn't turn up to SummerSlam last night. She was meant to be wrestling and all that. But Scarlett, for the time being, is Cross's valet, so not a crucial part to the programme, but people really want to see her, and possibly not him. But I mean, if you're getting that angry about Scarlett not being there, and you depend on wrestling to offer all your visuals of lady bits, then you maybe need to give your head a quick wobble. Anyway, with regards to the match, Joe and Cross just threw bombs at each other for a good 20 minutes, until eventually Samoa Joe got the win with the Muscle Buster, which I didn't think he was allowed to use anymore, but that's maybe in his new contract that he's re-signed since they let him go. It's a brilliant effort from everyone on the card tonight. Now, I've said before, NXT might not be the big shiny sort of brand that has the most exciting angles and the most talked about bits, but week in, week out, and especially these pay-per-views, the Takeover pay-per-views, they're consistently good. They have a work ethic, they have a quality standard, and they don't let people go on TV 99% of the time unless they're ready. They certainly don't trust other people's safety in their hands either, unlike other places do. Now, I did offer honest criticism for the Volta and Dragunov match, and there is a little bit more criticism here. NXT has fallen into the same, well, not fallen into, they've been chucked into the same trap by Vince, by the WWE machine. And now it's quite formulaic when you're watching these things. And we get these on the pre-show. People that aren't really wrestling fans or professional wrestling personalities, just people that know just enough to be able to talk their way through it, and then they get to the business they're really there for, to sell all that shit at the bottom. That's all they're interested in. We see it in video games. I talked about this at the E3 this year. It's just salesmen, and you can see it a mile off. People sniffing around because there's money to be made, and they don't enjoy what they're talking about, the wrestling stuff, just the credit cards and everything. Now, I did write a little piece a year ago called The Vultures of Television, which I'll leave the link in the description for you. But it's interesting to see where NXT's come from, considering it was just 1 hour last year, and it was just sharp as fuck every single time. The pay-per-views are still fantastic. The weekly television stuff drags a little bit, especially when they fall into the bad comedy segments. All in all, this was a great pay-per-view, and it was good for the entire wrestling business, because everyone's pulling the socks up and rolling the sleeves up now. And that can only offer good things. Well, that's enough out of me for the time being. Please comment below, like and share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Twitter @BluntDamage. If you'd like to support me over on Ko-fi, I'm /DannyDamage, and I'll have Twitch running at some point in the near future, and I'm Danny Blunt Damage on that. Feel free to check out dannydamage.co.uk and read all my other articles that I get on with, and you can find me on geeksandgamers.com every Monday and Thursday. Cheers for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you next time.